welcome to another On The Bike vlog here at Tom's DC, and today we're heading out on a lovely spring evening in April. In the news, in the Tom's TC news, we are now down to one bike, the MT-01, which is a temporary thing. Basically, I've sold the CRF250, and the reason I sold the CRF250 is not because I didn't like the bike. The bike was perfect for going off-road and a bit of commuting, but I'm too fat and heavy for it, too tall, too lanky and too heavy. The suspension was set up for someone a lot lighter than me, and I wasn't willing to go and spend the time and the energy upgrading the suspension. I started to find the engine a little bit gutless on longer trips, and the saddle was cutting me in two, and I wasn't doing enough off-roading to justify having that bike. It was perfect for off-road. I really enjoyed my off-roading that I did on it, but I just didn't do enough. I didn't have the time to go out purposefully to find green lanes. There's no green lanes in Somerset. There's a few dotted around, but they're all a bit inaccessible, and it's kind of hit and miss as to what you get. And I know what everyone's going to say, join the TRF. That's fine if you're committed to it, and I'm just not committed to it at the moment. So anyway, I sold the bike. I got what I wanted for it. It was on the lower end of the pricing for a bike like that, and the reason that was because I thought the bike was a little bit on the tattier side. It had definitely been used, and mechanically it was absolutely fine. A few issues here and there which I explained to the buyer. He's more than happy with it. Anyway, bike sold, it's gone. We are back to a one bike person. We've got my wife's 125, the YBR, still in the garage, but I still want two bikes. This bike, I love it too much. I want it to stay in the condition as it is, and I need a bike that can deal with my massive weight. It's comfortable, it's quick enough, doesn't have to be massively fast, just not a screamer, and also have the option, if I want to go off-road. Now, this puts me in a bit of a conundrum. There's one bike that does actually tick all those boxes. Now I wonder if you can guess it before I say it, and I won't get onto it just yet, because there are hundreds and hundreds of bikes that you can choose in this category, but only a few of them do it particularly well in my eyes, and I've got to go out and test ride them yet. And when I'm choosing a bike, for me, it's got to have the character, it's got to be I've got to like it, not necessarily love it, like it. And that's the other option, you see, that's the other thing. I can't love it too much, because I'll never take it off-road if I love it too much, because it will get scratched and dirty and it will pee me off. I get very anxious when my bikes are too dirty. Even this is a bit too dirty for me at the moment, and I'm already planning potholes. Ugh, so many potholes at the moment. I'm already thinking about when I can wash it. And the great thing is that the evenings are longer, so I can do it in the evening. But anyway, I digress. I need a bike that I can do that with. Now, what I could do with the money I got from the CRF, and I'm going to say a big thank you to someone, you know who you are, to give me the opportunity to get this done. I had a couple of options. So before I tell you on the bikes that I'm probably definitely going to look at, I'll tell you some of the ones that I've had some ideas about. So the first one I was looking at was the Yamaha XTZ660, which is another single cylinder. It's a bit bigger than the CRF, it's got a little bit more horsepower, not a lot, it's quite a tall bike, which is what I want. But after doing a bit of research into that, I just don't think it'll be enough for me. So the next option was parallel twins. And the more I sort of overthought it and overthunk it, I started looking at a Super Tenere 1200. And the things that appealed to me with the Super Tenere 1200 were big engine, 272 degree crank, so it sounds good. It's very big, nice big bike, do touring on it and stuff like that. And the icing on the cake being that it's a shafty, which will mean no chain to worry about. Now, again, I like my chains to look absolutely sparkly pristine all the time. I can't stand it where they look a bit dry and rusty. They need to have that little wet look, look nice and oily, and they can't sound crap either. You know, they can't hold clattery. So yeah, so I looked at the Super Tenere, but I think it's just a bit too big. And if I want to do a bit of off-roading, especially lanes around here, it's going to be too big for those lanes. So that's been put to bed now. And actually I saw one in flesh the other day and I didn't like it. I think they're quite a cool looking bike, I just didn't like it. So went away, did some thinking, and I started thinking maybe I could get GS 1200 or something like that. And then I came back to my senses and didn't go down that route. So I looked at a GS 800, and I could afford that straight off cash from the sale of the CRF, because it'll be a little bit older and a lot more miles, which doesn't really bother me because I do my own maintenance anyway, so I'm not too fussed about that. And I quite like the GS 800s, they look pretty cool. Oh, we're so glad we're on a motorcycle this evening. Look at all this traffic. Oh god, temporary road surface. Meow. Excuse me. Oh, that's nice and loose. Got to get a new bracket. That's crud, that one. Where was I? Where was I indeed? GS 800. So I looked at those, a few reviews, but I think they're too off-road biased, and I don't think I'll be able to do a lot of road miles on them. And then that moves me on to the next one, and I started looking at this. Always came up when I was looking into this. Always came up. The Tenere 700. I really like the look of this bike. I think it'll be good for a bit of road mileage as well, like long distance. I've got to get some test riding on it to see what the saddle will be like, so I'm a bit worried that that'll cut me in two, but we'll see. Obviously it's got that off-road biased setup, but plenty of people do use them without using them on off-road, so I'm sure it'll be okay. And that's one option, the Tenere. I've been looking at various different ages and mileage. I'm not too concerned. The only thing that the Tenere puts me off is it's so basic for that sort of money, and so I've got to be nice and careful along here. I tend to now I've started looking again at other bikes and prices things, and this one never even entered my thoughts until today, because I didn't actually realise that I might actually be able to afford at this level Oh, it's horrible. So yeah, I looked at the V-Strom range. Now, these bikes aren't particularly pretty. No, that's not fair. They are quite pretty. They are quite nice looking. I think the exhaust looks a bit weird. The original, like the standard exhaust, looks a bit fat and heavy. But the prices are so good on them, and even a 2023 plate one, the one I was checking out was a V-Strom 800DE. It's got loads of kit on it, and it will do road miles all day long, and can still take it off-road if I want to. I might even push it to a 1050. Now the thing is, I was never intending to go down this route of bikes like the 700, the Tenere 700, but I think I might actually be able to afford them. It's not going to happen just yet. It might be a while because I've got a holiday coming up, and I want to get that out of the way first. I might delve into it before then if the right bike comes along at the right price. But yeah, it's quite exciting. This bike will always be my baby. It's exactly, you know, it's exactly what I want in a motorbike. But I went up to Gloucester on it the other day for the Rock EOS launch, and you can see that video. I'll put a link up to it, and it was like an hour and a, how long was it? About an hour and a half to get there from Taunton, and it took it out of me, if I'm honest. Maybe I'm getting older, but I was a bit tired, and I'd have no problem knocking out that many miles on bikes like this before. But she's a bit of a noisy bin, this one. She's comfortable enough, don't get me wrong, but my bum did die a bit on the way back. Although I could put that down to the fact that the Trident that I rode on the Rock Day killed my backside because it's so hard. And it's just a lasting effect from that. But yeah, anyway, I want something that I can think, especially in the winter, I can think, right, because my parents live over in Kent, so it's quite a long drive for me, ride for me, especially on this thing. I know what you're thinking, and I bet loads of other MTR owners will be like, I do touring all the time on my bike. Yeah, but you're not 6'6", and you don't weigh nearly 20 stone. So yeah, but anyway, I want so I can do a bit of touring, not touring as such, but long distance. I'm not a big touring fan, and you know, still has a bit of speed behind it, and I can take off-road if I want to. If I had the option, I could take it off-road. So watch this space. Watch this space. Anyway, not too far from the destination now. I don't know if you've already guessed, if you've seen my other videos, I'm actually off to the first Langport bike night of the season, and I love this night. It's so versatile, but I won't do a big thing on it today because I've already done 2 videos on the Langport bike night. I might do a bit of filming tonight, I don't know. Yeah, I've already done quite a lot on Langport bike night. I'll put links to videos up here and at the end or whatever if you're interested. And the roads are terrible. There's so many ridges and potholes, it's unbelievable. I'm literally trying to ride down the middle and it's like it's proper tracking. You know, you get the ridges and you feel like you're sort of doing that. It's really odd, but it's right in the middle. And I've noticed that a lot of the roads are doing that recently. We do have a lovely evening, don't we? Don't we, ladies and gentlemen? Isn't it a lovely evening? I love it this time of year. It sort of feels like sort of end of August, sort of early September as well. I always like this church as you come into East Lynn here. It's like quite prominent right in front of you. I really like it. You can imagine coming up here, however old that church is, hundreds of years ago, on your horse and cart, seeing that in the distance. It must have been quite imposing. I always imagine things like that. Is that sad? I always think what it was like hundreds of years ago in these places, because the villages are miles apart. And I love this stretch of road here as we come up to Borough Mum. We cut all the trees down, the view, you can see it right across the levels. It certainly opens it up. So just got Borough Mump up there. I've done a video about that as well. And there it is, sitting proud up there. And then we just come around the corner here. It's always a bit treacherous around here. And there's another nice stretch. Love riding through the levels. It's kind of odd because the landscape changes so much throughout the seasons. In the winter this is pretty much all water. A friend of mine who's got a drone takes some fantastic pictures up here with it. If he lets me, I'll put some pictures up now. I'm sure he won't mind. But you can just see for miles and miles and miles, and it's a huge expanse of just fields and tree. Oh, it's just awesome. So we're just not too far away now. There's a little stretch of road just before Langport before the beer cider company where Langport Bike Night is held, and that's a nice place as well, but I don't know if I'm ever going to get a decent go on it because there's always a car in front of me blocking the road. Oh, the roads, whoa, gosh, it's terrible. I nearly came off the other day. I did a loop round down to Tiverton and through Bampton, and I'm following a car like this. I've got plenty of space in front of me, and this great big whopping hole just appears out of nowhere, straight through it. It's not good. Constantly scanning the road ahead just to avoid them. I haven't seen any bikes. Normally start to see some bikes as you come down here. Yeah, this is the nice stretch of road. There's actually a name for it, I can't remember what it's called. Seven Bends or something like that? If you know what it is, comment below. Over this jump. Whippy. There's loads of bumps and pops along here, it's horrible, this first bit. Yeah, this is that section of road. We're just coming up to Langport Bike Night now. One bike. See what we've got when we got here. Anyway, I'll call it the end there. So thank you so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up, give me a subscribe. I'll see you next time on Tom's TC. Well, there is a few here.